What's up, everybody? I'm back with a new spoiler review. Today, I'll be covering the action rom-com This Means War. Never seen this before. I knew of it, but I never actually sat down to actually watch it. I managed to get the extended version, watching it on HBO Max and stuff. So, the extended version just had like a couple of extra characters that had like bit parts, like Rebel Wilson. So it was just like very nothing burger of an extended edition, personally. But regardless, uh, do me a huge favor. Like this video. For some reason, YouTube has been acting funny with this like button system. Don't know what's going on, but I want to make sure it's actually working. So press that like button, see if it's actually doing anything. Also, follow me in links in the description below, such as my YouTube channel and Twitch channel, as I stream games, review content, and react to videos. So, without further ado, This Means War, directed by MCG, starring Reese Witherspoon as Lauren Scott, Tom Hardy as Tuck Henson, Chris Pine as Franklin FDR Foster. I could not believe they actually gave him a name like FDR, but whatever. Warren Christie as Steve, the Lawrence ex. Tills Schweiger as Carl Heinrich. Chelsea Handler as Trish. She's supposed to be some kind of comedian, and she has got zero laughs out of me. John Paul Ruttman as Joe's son. Abigail Spencer as Katie, Tuck's ex-wife. Angela Bassett as Collins, FDR and Tuck's boss. Rosemary Harris, Aunt May herself, as Nana Foster, FDR's grandmother. So, the movie begins pretty much like a typical action scene like you see in something like Rush Hour or something. Cool buddy cop film in a way, where Tuck and FDR are CIA agents in Hong Kong on a mission where they're trying to deal with this arms dealer, Carl Heinrich. In the middle of stopping this deal he's involved in, they inadvertently end up causing the death of Heinrich's brother, which of course the boss was upset because it's supposed to be under the radar. But now that Heinrich is swearing vengeance against the two agents, now they're pretty much, like, for their own safety, grounded and doing desk work. In the meantime, we meet up with Lauren, who is like, trying, like, get away out of there. And her friend suggested going on these date naps. Now, mind you, date naps was in still its early stages back in like 2012. I think it's hitting like a bit of stride around that time, specifically towards what was that one? Crap. Tinder. I was looking for that T word. Tinder. And of course, Lauren was a little like weirded out by it because like she didn't want to utilize a day now because it's weird. Funny how things change. Because back then, yeah, people would be hard pressed to actually use a dating app because it would be like, weirdos using those apps. But We come to realize years later that primarily guys sitting there like smash a bunch of girls, typically the more top tier dudes, utilizing those Tinder days not to look for any love, because these dating apps aren't like truly dating apps. They're just ways for people to try to just hook up. They're not really in it for the sole purpose of what it's supposed to be intended for. But a friend ended up signing her up, especially after bumping into one of her exes that, let's be honest, was trying to like make her feel like crap by showing off his new girl and making her look like a complete idiot. Tuck, after feeling a little bit lonely, considering that his ex-wife uh, uh, ain't trying to rekindle anything, and the son, he doesn't feel like he has any kind of connection with. So he put himself on like a dating app where Lauren and Tuck ends up matching up. Now, FDR suggested that he will wait close by in case he needs like an extraction, in case she turns out to be ugly or weird or whatever. But they end up hitting it off. Once the date was over, Lauren goes to the video store where FDR so happens to be there, and she kind of peeped his game immediately. Where like, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. You walk over here with your like blue eyes and your big, flowing hair and the chiseled looks, and you get this little like, you try to do the whole meet cute, grabbing at the same movie as the women who clearly is lonely, considering that they here picking up a video of like, animated classics or rom-coms or whatever. And it's like, then she's not wrong. And I actually never really, I don't pay attention to dudes' eyes because I'm not gay, so like I don't really focus on that crap. But as they do close-up shots of Chris Pine, is first time I actually noticed his eyes at all. I was like, oh my god, they're like deep blue, like deep, like holy crap, like it's like it's almost like I don't want to, like, look at your eyes, dude. Like, turn your eyes away. I don't want to look at your eyes. It's like it's weird. It's like that deep shade of blue is kind of very weird, but I'm pretty sure it's very appealing to a lot of women. So, hey, you don't need to listen to me. I'm a guy, so I'm not attracted to dudes. So, so of course it's not going to appeal to me at all. But I just happened to like, oh, why is this the first time I actually noticed your eyes are actually blue? It never like kind of, it's like all these years I watched a lot of Chris Pine films, or at least films that he's been in, and it's just the first time I actually noticed, like, holy crap, either they did something in the movie to make his eyes really pop, or he actually got some really deep blue eyes. This is like, I don't know. Immediately my brain just kind of went to Blue Eyes White Dragon in that moment. I was like, I went from like, wow, his eyes are really deep blue, and then I was thinking like, Blue Eyes White Dragon. My brain works funny. Anyway, this always goes back to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon with me. Anyway, or Food Wars, or Naruto. But anyway, so she tell him she's not interested, but he is interested because like she kind of piqued his interest now. Because she did a whole hard to get kind of thing. So he ends up utilizing the CIA to figure out where she works, and he sit there and crash her because she's some kind of like, what was it, like a executive for, it's some BS made up movie thing. It's like, who's actually got a job like this? What was it? Hold on. product testing executive. Product testing executive. Okay, you gotta put an executive to that title. You can just do product tester, but whatever. You gotta make it fancy. So he crashes it, and in the most awkward and titillating conversation, that's kind of awkward in front of everybody else. Uh, he convinces her to go out on a date with him, and she's feeling a little bad because now she's juggling two dudes, which she doesn't feel like it's her. But according to her friend, and of course it's Chelsea Handler, and of course she's all like, Gloria Steinem, rah rah rah, girl power crap. Like, if they could do it, why can't we? Because it's fucking gross. I'm sorry. It's not ideal for some guys to do this either, but it's one of the few things that we can do without any backlash from. Not saying it's right, but yeah. So the fact that like she ain't doing nothing sexual with him immediately, but she yeah, she's definitely intrigued by both of them. But it doesn't take too long where both Tuck and FDR realize they're dating the same girl. Instead of doing things like normal human beings, and well, first they did, well, FDR did the right thing for a brief minute and decided like, hey, I'm gonna back off. Like, you was dating her first, I'm gonna back off, and then try to make a competition out of it. But the more grown-up thing is to just back off, or, well, you don't need to confront the girl because you ain't did nothing. Like pretty much you got a way out now without nobody getting their feelings hurt or whatever. But no, they end up turning it into a competition because FDR is the player while Tuck is the guy who was married with a kid, so he hasn't been in a dating scene in a long while. Mind you, we're talking about Tom Hardy here having a tough time dating, but whatever. So they decided, okay, they said the ground rules, no sex, none of, so, but they end up sabotaging each other's dates or spying on each other. So, while this is carrying on, we realize Heinrich is trying to figure out, because during the scuffle with the brother and FDR, he tore off a piece of his suit, so he's using it to track down where it was made from and the origin. So he ends up finding his way, like, okay, I gotta make my way to America, Los Angeles, to seek my revenge. So all that's carried on. Yeah, he's probably in this film for a good 10 minutes, probably at max. I'll get to that in a second, but we see Tuck and FDR go on these little dates, these nice dates, but they're utilizing their resources to figure out the things that she like and everything like that. They end up, probably one of the most coolest scenes in the entire film, in my opinion, is the moment where she is in her house dancing to some music as these dudes, unbeknownst to each other, are slipping in, and in like a good one shot as it's turning around, where the camera is panning around the area, these guys are slipping behind walls and underneath the table, or just dipping out of frame just in the nick of time, without her noticing, as she's dancing to music and preparing popcorn and everything like that. I forgot what the song was playing, but it was like a hip hop song, and hip hop song clearly from the 80s. But it was an amazing shot. I thought it was going to keep going because that was pretty dope. It's probably my favorite scene in the entire film. That was really well done. Um, so this is how they were able to bug her conversations and see what's what. Now, of course, uh, uh, well, during the first date, before we get further into it, during the first date with FDR, they went out to this club, but she wasn't feeling it. As she's walking out, they get into this argument because she was being uptight, and I guess he was trying to treat her like any other girl that he was trying to bed. But she sees her ex and his fiance walking down the street, so she leans in, kisses FDR, and he plays along. And clearly the dude was like, feeling some type of way, because now she got the one-upmanship on him in terms of high status partner. So she explains the situation. He feels bad, and they agree to go on another date. Anyway, through the bugging in the house, they find out as she's having a conversation with her friend that they're, pros and cons essentially. Now, of course, FDR, he has that kind of like, that clearly like the bad boy thing, the electricity, like the spark, all that stuff is like, he got all these qualities. He's very like the eyes and the smooth talk and blah blah blah, but he also got these little like little girly hands, and like you hear like Tuck having like a good old laugh about it. Just he just getting roasted. But she also points out that FDR might seem cold and like not very sensitive and everything like that. Then she went on to Tuck, where he seems like the safe guy. Can't make this up, people. It's tales all the time. Tale as old as time. Most girls tend to not like the safe dude, even though in the long run that's the one they need in order to secure their life. But during their young fun years, they want to just make that a negative. So, but he's charming and witty and all this like other positive qualities. So they decide, okay, we need to turn up the notch on those weaknesses. So FDR takes her to this animal rescue shelter, and is honestly a pretty funny moment when he's going around. It's like, "What's up, Alice?" I'm like, "Who?" It's some weird lady that's like working there. She doesn't know who the heck this is, and he's high fiving like some random kid, like, "Hey there, like so and so." It's like, huh? That part is pretty doggone funny. He ends up adopting a big black hound or just a dog, whatever, with a milky eye or something. To show that he's and then taking her to like a gallery, a private gallery with like all these paintings from her favorite artist from Austria. What was his, the painter? Gustav Klimt, or Klimt. But then with Tuck, he takes it out to like a paintball range, and of course, given the fact that he's a CIA agent, of course he dominates everybody and just annihilates the entire group of people. It's so fun just to see like Tom Hardy is really like lean into the action movie and like and just like straight up whooping tons of ass. Even these little kids, they all getting like just murked. It's so freaking funny. And she just walks up and it's like astonished because you cannot tell me a girl does not turn on by is not turned on by that kind of death-defying acrobatics and like just hardcore like gunplay. But then she doesn't know how to wield the paintball gun, and she ended up shooting off a round into his crotch. It was, I don't know, like, hits to the groin is almost always funny. Uh, so now she's even more confused because now both of them like are meeting expectations that she never thought possible. Now she makes it like very difficult. Then she decides, okay, I'm going to have sex with them just to break the tie, even though the guys agreed not to do so. But they end up keep trying to sabotage each other, where uh, FDR hacks the sprinkler system inside Tuck's home and waterlogs every doggone thing. I would have been pissed off, like insurmountably pissed off that you ruined everything. Like everything smelled like mildew. All the electronics are probably like are shorted out. Like the whole entire place is completely ruined. So it's like, okay, we may have some kind of bet going on, but bro, you ruined my freaking apartment. You gonna replace all that stuff? Like, bet you gonna do that. But then Tuck ends up using a sniper rifle and tranking FDR, putting him to sleep so he can't like do the deed. But I can't help but think this feels like I'm watching the series Archer. It seems like something like Sterling Archer and his comrades would do just for like out of pettiness and getting these breaking into resources, not breaking in, but utilizing resources for personal stuff and calling it classified. It's so dumb. Oh, and by the way, of course, Angela Bassett's in here, and she's also probably only in here for 10 lousy minutes. We'll get to that in a second. But FDR eventually, because he actually is legit falling for Lauren, so much so, he actually decides to take her to meet his family, where, she learns that his parents were killed in a car accident, so he grew up kind of like closed off. So she's like she's like the first person that he actually introduced them to. So Tuck feeling a little like, okay, he pulled out that family card, so knowing he can't introduce her to his ex-wife nor his child, and he doesn't have any kind of family personally to speak with because I guess he grew up orphaned or something. So he primarily is like a friend of the family but part of the family kind of thing with FDR. So he decided to hire actors to play his family, which FDR ends up causing agents to kidnap and replace with very weird, off-putting people as like the family, like Rebel Wilson, and making it so embarrassing for him. So he eventually has to come clean, which further endears her to him. And he actually introduces her to meet his son, where they have like a nice little time cooking in the kitchen, blah blah blah. And he ends up reconnecting with the son. I'm glad the son's not in here all too much because it seems, it'll turn into a very cheesy like a Hallmark rom-com with just the kid just being a complete annoying, just be cute kind of thing. This kid seems like more of like a normal kid, where he's not trying to be in. He's at the age where he doesn't want to deal with his parents' shenanigans. He just want to be on his electronics, typical stuff. So that's like a more of a real kid than almost anything else. So while they finish the their respective dates, Lauren ends up having sex with FDR, much to the disappointment of Tuck. So, but FDR ends up finding out that Heinrich is in the U.S. and he was spying on Tuck's last date with Lauren. So he burst in on Tuck and Lauren's lunch date. She's embarrassed. He's trying to tell Tuck about Heinrich. He doesn't believe him because they spend the bulk of their desk duty time or time off from the field sabotaging each other's dates. So they end up getting to a brawl in the middle of the restaurant. She ends up finding out they're best friends, and she got the nerve to feel offended. Girl, you was juggling two dudes. You're not on some you're not innocent in this situation neither. Sure, they was wrong, but you sitting there thinking like you was playing both of these dudes. So everything is perfectly fine as long as these two did not know each other. It's they skirted that heavily. But as she leaves with her friend, they end up getting bumping into Heinrich, who's attempting to kidnap them, but Tuck and FDR goes chasing after them in a cool car chase, and they reach at the end of the road where she offers her little suggestion and tells them to shoot out the headlights because it connects to the airbags, which causes Heinrich to crash and get killed. But the car kept flipping over, and she ends up going towards FDR, not Tuck, which is kind of like a whole dog, which owner you going to go to kind of thing. So this solidifies who she chose ultimately. Kind of forces her hand to choose. Ultimately, she feels more for FDR than Tuck, which he respectfully bows out and is like, hey, I'm happy for you, blah blah blah. But Tuck, reconnects with his ex-wife and his child, and then the movie ends with FDR, after some time had went by, is ready to propose to Lauren. But then he also comes clean about the fact that, he used to, he had a one night stand with Tuck's ex-wife long before they really got together and had a child. He feels he can come clean about it now since that he had sex with Lauren, so they kind of break even. And Tuck, in a fit of anger, said him and Lauren never went all the way. So his friend ended up banging both girlfriends, and so he tackles him off the helicopter, and the movie ends. That part was really funny. That really got me. But yeah, man, I enjoyed this action rom-com a lot more than I thought I was going to. My biggest criticism, honestly, the uselessness of Chelsea Handler. I don't know, watching in here, you could have picked any other female comedian that actually can utilize material to make what the dialogue says funny. She was not funny at all. Angela Bassett and the guy playing Heinrich, completely useless. You got these big name. Well, Angela Bassett is definitely a big name, but I'm pretty sure the actor playing Heinrich is pretty big too. phrasing. Um,
Phrasing?
but he's supposed to be the main bad guy. You expected more? It seems kind of anticlimactic how he goes out. Angela Bassett seems kind of useless. You could have cast any actress for this role. Because if you cast Angela Bassett, of all people, she better have some kind of prominence or some more material to be a part of to warrant getting her, because I'm pretty sure she wasn't cheap even for back then. You getting her, you gotta, this is not a glorified cameo. Okay? You gotta give her something. It just seems kind of wrong to me, because you could have just put in any rando who hasn't acted in a big time budget film before, and have them audition, and whoever put the best performance, you put them in that role. Since they're only going to be performing this particular role as Collins for like 10 minutes, like, that's what kind of bugs me about certain things in the industry, where you waste money on getting these big name actors for roles that is like usually small, that is always almost always usually voiceover stuff too. But for in terms of like live action, you could have just casted anybody. You don't. It's not something that warrants, unless it's like the main leads. Outside of maybe some other qualifiers, but sticking to like this particular film, the main focus is on the characters Tuck, FDR, and Lauren. Anybody else, you could have just casted any rando that never acted in anything big budget like this before. You can got them on relative cheap, and it would not change the situation at all. Everything will probably still remain the same. But yeah, I will see you guys soon. I got a quick call here I got to answer, so I will see you all soon. A good movie, by the way.